Gary here. It's Thankful Thursday, and I am so happy to be here today. And I hope that you are joining us live in the leadership group of Faith 52. I I am super excited about my friend and this talk on Thursdays because usually you see me in here giving you tips and whatnot. But today I have one of my best friends, my sister, my mentor, my counselor, my coach. I mean, I don't think I could be here without her. She is a good friend and it means a lot to me. So if you're joining us in right now, please let me know in the comments. I might not be able to see your name, so I'm going to try to keep up with that. But we will love to see you interacting in the chat. Let us know as our conversation goes in. But once again, I want to introduce you my friend and sister, Jill Vogel. And here's Jill.
Wow. Good morning. I can say good morning.
Yes.
Wow. Your music just sort of made me want to get up and dance.
It's pretty catchy, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
So this is so fun to be here this morning. I am from California, so it's a little earlier than you, but well worth the get up early. I actually had a hard time sleeping because I was so excited. I have watched Anna just grow and Anna, there's Gina. Yes. I admire you so much on how much you have grown in just this leadership development for people.
And thank you so much. I mean, like, seriously, I'm not lying. One of the things, if you don't know Jill like I do, one of the things that she does, and it bothered me at the beginning because I didn't know what she was doing, but she tells me, okay, and I'm going to press on right here. And then she will start asking me questions to really go deep on what I really needed to get out or say. And now I love it. That's when I am like in a pickle or I'm like doubting or things like that, I call Jill because like she's gonna be the one that's gonna get it out. She's gonna help me to get it out. And you do. So
I think we all do it for each other. We just do it a little different. Yeah. So it's just, when Anna asked me to talk about my, I want to call it a fetish, but when I looked up the word fetish, I was like, "Ooh, wait a minute, maybe I don't want to call it a fetish," because the first definition was okay. So, but it is a little bit of an obsession that my family has had to live with, and it gets a little messy at times, and but yet. In this season, I'm trying to organize myself a little bit. So by Anna reaching out, I've done a little bit of cleanup on my index. My index. I need Gina to come up with a different word. I don't want to use fetish, but my obsession. My love for index cards. Who could think someone could love index cards? But I do. So.
Yeah, I know. You just got me thinking. What is a good word? If you're joining us, and you can think of a word. Let us know in the chat. Like, what could be a good word to say that? Because I understand what you're saying, and now I'm second on that after you told me about that. A tool.
Yeah, it's a good tool. A passion. I like passion.
Yes.
Not obsession.
Right. Thank you, David, for being here. Angie's husband is with us.
Good morning, David.
So
So,
thank you so much. And Gina is here, and hopefully some other people will jump in. And if you jump in later, please let us know in the comments. Just put hashtag replay so we know that you were here and you watched the whole thing. But so, Jill, I wanted to ask you. You said already a little bit about it. The index cards, like mind blowing because most of us, like I see Emma, my 12-year-old, using them all the time because she uses them for school. But I never thought to me, like, I'm like, oh my gosh, that reminds me of multiplication tables. I don't want to
mhm.
use index cards because that was such a pain. But you give it a twist and it's helped me on my leadership. So tell me, how did you start it? How long have you been using them? What can you tell us, like how this tool has been such a meaningful way for your leadership to be used?
Okay, so like most of us in college, I use them to gather my notes. In elementary school, you'd use them for flashcards. In fact, at one time, I even looked it up, and I don't know if you know, but a taxidermy person, Carl, I think his name is Limas or something like that, actually invented it to gather data. And so we used them for, when we were in elementary school and high school, to gather the data that we needed to study. And I would, when I met my husband, I had done this earlier. We have those recipe cards, those card boxes, because index cards basically were my mother-in-law's recipe cards. And she would travel around and she would get recipes from different people and file them in there. So I would actually love to go and just pour through them. Maybe you pour through your grandmother's, maybe you pour through your mother-in-law's, but I would go through and get some ideas. So when I started going into ministry, I kind of remembered what my mother-in-law had. And it was just a feast of different recipes, and they were categorized. So I thought, well, okay, because I would collect, my husband will tell you, I'm going to give you a hint. I am a squirrel. And in fact, I have a thing that's called Squirrel Ideas. And so I would go back and track here. So I started coming up with different ideas that I would want to do in ministry. And when I'd read a book, I think I have a book here. I don't know about you, but my book it's so highlighted, and it would be full of great thoughts. And I would want to know what to do with these thoughts. So I started writing them down, and I started collecting them. When we were first married, I had a box that was really high, full of things that I would want to do, pictures I'd want to see. And I just started collecting them. And I would shove them, and Kent would call it my box of mess. And I wouldn't do anything with them. I'd have a great idea.
It was like Pinterest in a box, right?
That's, some people go, well, why don't you Pinterest? And I'll explain why I don't Pinterest, because if you were to go to my Pinterest page, there would be so much stuff in there, and it would not be organized. It would be just what I was thinking of in the moment. And so after I saw my mother-in-law's thing, I took a job as a preschool teacher, and I actually still have those. But I would create these so that I could, at a spur of the moment, at a spur of a moment, I could come up with something that I had done. Maybe it was a song about rain, and we were raining, and you couldn't remember that piece of information at that time. So you would go to the category and you immediately pull it out.
And oh my gosh, that is such a fabulous idea. Like, to have for children ministry, to have that right there on your desk. And when you go blank, here,
Exactly. And it's sort of like, I know David's on here, and David has to research things. I
Yeah.
would have, if I was pulling something that I needed to do, I would have like a ring of different ideas. And then as I researched, I would write it down on an index card, and then I would find the ring that it went with so I wouldn't forget.
Oh,
And so it's, you could do it all different ways. You have to take a tool and gear it towards you, if that's, yeah.
yes. So
So,
it could be implemented in any area, in any ministry. That's really. I'm even thinking, like for what's coming in Thanksgiving, I am a little bit nervous because I'm going to be the host of our family, extended family Thanksgiving meal, and I'm like, what shall we talk about? And that just gave me an idea to create table topics that we can talk about and have the index. Oh my gosh.
yeah,
Yeah.
I've done it where I did it for our moms group, where I found a list of prayers or
Mhm.
topics to do with different with their kids. So I cut them out and I put it together, and I gave it to them as something that they could take home and pray with their kids.
Yeah.
The reason I don't, and I do have, in fact, I have a whole box of notebooks. I have
Hmm.
like this,
Hmm.
um, and I don't. I used to write them in here, but
Hmm.
this has a cover and a back,
Yeah.
and you have a tendency not to open it up. You
Yes.
have to look and open it up. And the reason I like binder clips,
Hmm.
and with a topic like this one right here, this is my squirrel, things that make no sense that only Jill would understand. I put those in
I
here,
love it.
and that way I know. And you know what? Even though it's a squirrel idea right now, but maybe as I look at it and I add, because I also
Mhm.
have a list of different binder clip things that I want to grow in, because right now maybe I'm not ready
Yes.
to dig deep into grief practices.
Uh-huh.
Or I've entered my second act because I didn't retire. I stepped away from ministry. I'm entering in my second act.
Hmm.
I, I'm not ready yet to build this binder, what that looks like, because God's talking to me during it.
Yes.
But to always keep thinking of ideas of binder clips and organize yourself.
Oh my gosh, I am super excited about this, but I also have to call you out. Well, not me, Gina did, because look what
I
she
know.
said. That will have been such a great hands-on breakout for CPZ. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say
Okay.
yes.
Okay. So maybe down this.
We'll talk about this because we're gonna press on, Jill, to get this going because these are so much great ideas. And you know what? You have talked to me about the rings, and because we're usually on the phone, right? So
Mhm.
you really hadn't show me again, show me again. Look at that.
Yeah.
I
So you want to know some topics that I have?
Yes, please.
I have things for me. I have things. I'm going to be a grandmother in
Yes,
March,
congratulations.
so I have things that I for Callie. Maybe I want to grow in stepping in as a grandparent. Start reading grandparent books and
Hmm.
put things in here so that I have it.
Yes.
I also have things for my kids and Kent. Maybe I've heard something on a podcast that I want to pass to them,
Hmm.
and it isn't the time to do it. Maybe they're just not ready to hear that. This sounds bad, but maybe they're in a toxic relationship, and I have a quote about what toxicity looks like.
Hmm.
It's something that I can hold on to, and when the time is right, I can talk to them about it.
Yeah.
But I also have to get rid of it. If I
Yeah.
have used it, I need to get rid of it so that
Uh,
it doesn't. It isn't something that I keep bringing up,
Right.
because your kids and your husband don't want to have you keep bringing up something that you've already given to them to deal with.
My gosh, mind blowing.
I also have a topic here, notes for my book club. Maybe I've gone, and this is something that I newly started doing. We all listen to podcasts, or we're in the car. But I'm going to go back with the podcasts. I love to listen to podcasts or books when I walk. And recently at our book club, we have I had listened to one of the podcasts, and it was so good. But I was listening to it. I had nothing on me to write some notes. And I remember saying, "Oh, I'm just going to listen to it again." And I didn't listen
That
to it again.
podcast was mine, right?
Yes, it was your podcast. And so I don't know if you know about this, but there is a pocket for your phone and your jogging pants often. Well, I replaced that. My phone doesn't necessarily always go there. I put
Your
index cards in there because they're easy. You can write them, make the notes, and then I come back and I write it on something bigger. So in some ways I really get to remember it because I'm writing it twice and then I'm going to read it later. But it's just a way to stop, because I'm walking my dog. I'm not running, but I'm walking my dog. I can stop, I can make a note, and then I can put it back in my pocket. But it is, I have to tell you, don't walk with a ballpoint pen, and don't walk with a permanent marker. So, so it's just a way to always have index cards with you. Yeah. When I was at church, when I worked for a church, I always carried them in my back pocket. And I remember my pastor once asked me, "Why do you have index cards?" Because I'm always given information. And I would use it and write it down. And if someone said something to me, or I needed to remember, because I also have a friend clip, like maybe I need to reach out to a friend and talk to them further about something. Yeah. I had this index card that I put on the clip and I could remember. Yeah. Another great thing to do is if you go to a conference or you're in a group meeting, take index cards, write the person's name down. Write a little bit of information about that person, because it kind of is like that old Rolodex that your grandparents had or a lawyer had on his thing. It's a great way to remember somebody and what somebody can give you, so how somebody can help you.
Yes, and I can totally relate to that, being a yellow. Like that happened to me yesterday. We should have done this Tuesday, because yesterday when I went to that meeting at the get together, I met like 3 people and they gave me their card, and I until right now I'm trying to remember the name of that lady that didn't give me a card but told me a really cool story, and I just feel awful asking for her name.
Yeah. So it's a good way to connect. And also too, you don't, at this moment, you may not need what this person told you, or what this person could do a podcast or something. But if you have the information written down, you can follow up with, and just write about that person. Even don't always just do information, but maybe a personal note. Maybe she has 3 kids, maybe there's a prayer. Even have a prayer one. Yes. Maybe we all have prayer journals. We all have these, but use a prayer one. Maybe there's, today I opened up my email and I saw, I'm trying to find it right now, someone had written down a prayer prompt. And it was Lisa Turkhurst had sent an email. And it was a prayer prompt that said, "God, I want to see you. I want to hear you. I want to know you more. You need to stop and listen and write an index card with this." Just spend time doing that, put in prayer prompts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But and also I also have, you can buy these. These are little, they do sell these at Target. They're pretty. This goes in my purse. So I always have it with me so that I can always write something, because maybe I'm picking up my children and I'm listening to that podcast, write it here, have it
Mhm.
right here. Because who wants to look for a piece of paper? How many times have you looked and had to write on the back of a receipt? You got to be
Right.
prepared.
Yes. And I want to make a note there too, because Lauren is here. Hi, Didi. Um, for the younger generation that could say, and I think Gina said it also. There's an app, and yeah, I have 2 or 3 apps that I use that help me keep up with things. But there's something particular about having a pen and paper. Like, I just love pen and paper. Like, just writing it down, just the exercise to write things down. I think it also helps our memory. It helps
Okay.
our writing, because believe it or not, we're losing the writing. You
Mhm.
kids are typing nowadays, and they go like typing 100 words per second, but it's an art to write things down. And I personally love writing things down, and I have millions stickies. Well, I feel how I feel about sticky notes, but these are great ideas. I mean, like, woman, you hadn't disclosed all that to me before. I am so glad you're
Mhm.
sharing it with us right now.
Yeah,
And
and I'm not going to say you can't use the computer, because you can, but maybe print it off, and like I showed you the laminated ones. Here's
uh,
recipe cards, but maybe you put it on here and you laminate it, or you glue it on there, because there are great things, and sometimes you can't write the whole. Whoops!
yeah, yeah. So I have
I'm getting so excited.
this
Maybe
is
you
my
can't
little
write the whole
paper.
thing.
Yeah, this is my everyday prayer that I pray over my daughters, my husband, my house, and stuff. And I have it right here. But sometimes when I feel like I'm in the car and I need to pray that prayer and I don't have it memorized yet, I was like, oh, I wish I had it here. And I think with the index cards would be, like you said, just shove them in your purse. I mean, like, that will be a great idea. This is what I have with it, because we talked the other day about this, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
having paper clips, or what are these called? Like binder clips.
Binder clips. These
Um,
are, yeah.
it, it,
These
it,
are binder
allows,
rings. Those are binder
yeah,
clips.
it allows you to change out the cards as you need them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
So yeah, and the main thing too is, like, here is I'm just going to show you one that's here that this is my new one that I'm adding to. It's I have one that's called blog ideas. I'm just going to sit down and write different things that I want to be. Maybe there's a scripture that come out to me that I want to research more. A friend was asking me the other day, we were in Bible study, and she said, I really want to look at promises, God's promises, and what that looks like. I have a clip that says, promises. What is God saying in his word about promises? And our plan is to keep adding that to the binder clip, so that when we can talk more about it, we're going to bring our index cards, because she's going to index too, and bring them together and see how we can evolve this and talk more deeper about it. And so it's just I came up with an idea and it went this way, but it's just taking something and researching it more. It's also important not to just make these binder things. Is if you're sitting at your desk, put one down, look through it, clean it out. Maybe you find that you've wrote the same quote 3 times because it just God's speaking to you through it, and you're like, whoa, where was that? Take them out, clean them out, look at it, use it. If you don't look at it, you're not going to use it.
Yes, and they're really, really cheap.
Oh, dollar store.
So that is a great thing too. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's like, and make sure you also have this and go to the dollar store and buy binder clips. They come 8 for $1. They're really good. They make really big ones, and then they make really small ones. But get the big ones, because you want your index cards to grow. But every year, At the end of the year, I go through them and decide what I want to add and what I
Oh,
want to not look at anymore. So it's
yeah.
always something, it's always something new. And, make sure you're always coming up with, I have an index card with other areas I want to grow in.
Hmm. Hmm. That is also a great way to use them, like on a yearly basis. You can go back and say, like, what did I accomplish? What did I forgot? What did
Mhm.
I still thinking about, but it hasn't come yet?
Yeah.
Or like you were saying, it's a great way to review and do that awareness phase, right? Like to what do you want to move on to, all those things. And when you have them separated by topic, I think that's also great because you sometimes, like you, I have the squirrel syndrome. So I'm mixing, my personal life with the things I
Mm-hmm.
have to do with ministry, with, like things I want to do as a woman and things like that. So it's a great thing to have them separated. I'm going to check on the comments. We just had Gina said, that's why I have started writing scriptures every morning. Yes. So you can use them right every morning. And sometimes, like I'm praying for this lady that she's really, really, really sick right now. And just writing down the prayer for her in particularly, it just it makes it, I don't know, more for me to focus. And somebody was actually sharing with me yesterday. He has ADD, and he's like, Anna, every morning I lit a candle because the light, looking at the candle, it helps me focus on my prayer time.
Mm.
And I was like, oh my gosh, that is such a great idea for squirrel syndrome people. But I think that we can bring that also to the index cards, writing
Mhm.
down that particular prayer for that day for that person makes it more intentional, and you are more, focused on that particular person. I'm also gonna make a parenthesis here because y'all have to you have to know this. Jill was worried that her dog was going to be interrupting this morning while we were going live. Have you listened to this guy? And he, like, my arms are all scratched up because he's down here and he just wants me to hold him, but he's too big for me to hold him.
Yeah.
But so yeah, dogs are welcome into our Thursday talks.
What I was going to say too, for people that are in ministry, we think in seasons or like Christmas is coming, but sometimes an idea will come to us we'll see something on Facebook or Pinterest. Always have index cards when you're looking at things. And maybe you see something that someone did, but you're not going to do it this year. But you want to remember it. Have a Christmas, have a Christmas or an Easter or a VBS or maybe a small, you're going to do with your small groups or something like that. Have a binder for them. And once you get an idea, you don't have to use it right this moment. Maybe you're going to use it 6 months, 2 years, whatever it is, but just write it down so that you always have it. It's it's an easy thing. These are commands. These command hooks are
Uh-huh.
really great. Have a board that says Christmas, VBS, whatever it is, and have your binder clip connected to it and keep adding it because we're given so much information and maybe it's not what we need right this moment. Maybe it's something we could use down the road, but where
Yeah.
are you going to put it?
Yeah.
Not in a book that doesn't get open, but
Right.
on an index card that you can see and be reminded.
That is such a great idea too. That's awesome. Oh my gosh. I am just blown away with all the information and the good stuff you gave us today. I want to, we're almost out of time, but I want to thank you so much for being my guest, and I love you so much, and
I love
I treasure you like you have no idea. Do you have an
you.
idea?
Aww.
But we're gonna
Yes.
keep in touch, and just keep growing together. And
Yeah.
You can connect with Jill. I'm gonna put in the comments her email address, so you can connect with her. You can obviously find her on Facebook, and I'm telling you, if you haven't connect with her, she is a great mentor and an awesome coach. She will help you get to wherever you need to get, especially that day. There's been so I can't tell people how many times you have gotten me unstuck for a day when I was like, I can't, that's it.
Well,
It ends right here. And Jill, you're always there for me. So
well,
I
yeah.
appreciate
One of my big dream bigs is that I just want to be a cheerleader alongside
you.
God for other people.
Yes, you already are, sister. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, friends. Thank you, Gina and David and Diane and Lauren. If you all still there, thank you so much. Let us know in the comments what you learned. If you're actually using the index cards, we want to see your pictures. Just put
Mm-hmm.
them in the comments. And again, reach out to her if you need more ideas or pictures of her stuff, like how does she
Yeah.
do it, and step by step. I'm pretty sure she will be happy to help you. So thank you so much, Jill,
Thank
and
you.
we'll see you guys next Thursday.
Yes.
Oh, all
Or no,
right.
actually, you can join tomorrow, right?
Yes, yes. I'm sorry, I forgot. So tomorrow on my YouTube channel, Handle with Care Ministries, another one of our friends, Leanne Walk. I mean, she's amazing. I mean, like,
Mm-hmm.
she is really good. She's going to talk about, her ministry and her curriculum, how easy it is to use, and how she ministers to families through that magnificent curriculum. I've done it with my daughter. Super easy to do, very low prep and those kind of things. So she's really good at that, just as much as Jill is an encourager and a cheerleader. Leanne, her thing is the spiritual gift that, like, when you're next to her through the screen, you're like, right? Like,
Exactly. You
she,
want her to rub off on you.
yes, yes. So don't want to miss that. It's tomorrow on my YouTube channel at 10 o'clock. Thank you for reminding me that. And I will see you later, friends. Thank you so much.
Bye. Have a great week.
Thank you.